other popular videos, and make sure you get your key phrases in there 3 to 4 times. Keep your URL at the beginning, even the end. Categories, less popular categories, if they fit your content, may be able to reduce your competition so you get honors for that category for the day. Have all this ready to go before you upload. That's the bottom line of all this, so that after the video is uploaded, because remember, any changes you make after that will sometimes take a day or two to take effect. But ranking well on YouTube also has a lot to do with this third thing here that I'm going to talk about, and this is my super stealth tip on the outline, and that is they're going to be looking at this metadata matrix, which is views, ratings, and being favorited, and know that these types of ratings and things that are being measured by YouTube do make a big difference in how well you get ranked. You always find it right here on the statistics and data that I was showing you earlier. There's the links that are listed, but then if you look in here, we've got the number of views, we've got the number of ratings, how many times this video had been favorited, and how many comments. This is important data to the algorithm for YouTube. It's not an exact one-to-one correlation, but videos with not only higher views also then have been rated, favorited, and even discussed, and they tend to be, Paul, you were just talking about the Google Universal Search results. People have found that the videos that are coming up tend to be higher in all of these categories. They tend to have a lot of comments. They tend to have been favorited a lot, viewed a lot, and rated a lot. So earlier we were just kind of talking about views, but a lot of the guys that have been out there studying this, the SEO experts that know a lot more than I do even on the subject, they have been finding that there is not necessarily a one-to-one direct correlation, but it is related.
Well, if you think about it, if you think about that, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you know, in this particular example, not only has this been viewed a lot of times, but 27 people took the time to rate it, 10 people took the time to comment it, 5 sites different are linking to it. I mean, obviously this is a viable video. And Google's always been about viability, so something like this would make a lot of sense.
Right. And it's also important because YouTube has what I mentioned earlier in terms of honors that you can receive. And depending on the category where your video is posted, that's why I was talking about category earlier, if the comments, favorites, and or the views become enough in the first 24 to 48 hours, then your video will be listed on the honors page. And that's how I was just showing you earlier that I was searching was the category. If you look down here, here was a particular video that was the most responded to in news and politics. They also do it by geographic location, just so you know. But it will show you that it's showing up in all these different places. So over here again, if I'd gone under news and politics, there's the category. This was showing me on just that day. I could also search by week, month, or all time, but that was showing me the most viewed. If I wanted to, I could go look at the most featured, most discussed, or top favorited. With the Motors TV, we were actually able to get our current episodes on page 1 of honors for the most favorited section and occasionally the most rated section under the auto and vehicle categories. And once we did that, we noticed a tremendous increase in the amount of traffic we got. So I'm telling you, even though if you don't do it, know that a lot of people do search this way to find out what's popular, what's being talked about, what's cool. To do it, though, you need to jump in there immediately after the video's been uploaded and beg your friends, family, and other people to go in there and rate and favorite your video right away. And that used to drive the guys in my office crazy when we would upload the video at 9 in the morning, and by 10 in the morning I'm running around the office going, have you rated and favorited our video? Have you rated and favorited our video? And made sure that everyone in the office did it, along with a second account that I had. So that's kind of a hint there to what I'm actually going to tell you is a trick, so I call it my super stealth trick, to doing better in this type of data. And I'll preface this by saying that there are a lot of black hat type tricks out there that you can employ to get more views on YouTube. I don't necessarily recommend a lot of them because you can get your account shut down. But most, I think, of the YouTube video content contributors that are out there and doing well, I think most of them have several accounts. It's just something you do, and we've all probably done it with other sites that we're on. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a gray hat trick instead of a black hat. But the idea here is that you can set up 4 or 5 accounts, and if you just feel guilty doing something like that, then just line up 4 to 5 friends, husband, kids, parents, whatever it might be, and every video that you have go up, ask them if they will rate and favorite your videos. Or find a partner, somebody within YouTube, and say, hey, I'll rate yours if you rate mine. And have them go in there and do that right away. Again, 24 to 48 hours is the window to make honors. What you want to do when doing that is you want to start with, obviously, then a recently uploaded video. Doing this with a video that is 2 weeks old, it's not going to work because you can only get honors in that first 24 to 48 hours. And what you'll start noticing is after you've done this, your ratings and being favorited and even comments will start to go up, because a lot of people will come to a video, and if they see someone else has done it, it's monkey see, monkey do. Oh, well, someone's already rated this, I will too. If no one's rated or favorited your video, they're very unlikely to want to be the first to do that. I don't know, some people may get a kick out of that, but a lot of people won't even think to do it. Now, that brings me to discussing a way that you can actually try to get some more views too, and that is get your first 100 views on your own. And this goes along with what I was just saying. A lot of people won't watch if no one's paved the way first before them. And you can do that by either refreshing it manually. I know that's kind of annoying. That's very time-consuming. Or I'm going to show you a little trick here that I came across actually after we were done with the Voters TV. So this isn't even something that I used to do. I just found this out recently. Here, for example, I'm going to use Brad's video. So let's say Brad's video is playing along. Well, I'm using Mozilla Firefox, and if I right-click, see this menu that comes up, and here I see this reload right here. This is actually a plugin for the Mozilla Firefox browser, and it's called the Reload Every, I believe is what they call it, add-on for Firefox. And what this will do is refresh or reload my page according to what I put it at, 5, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or even every 5 minutes if I want to. So if I set this and forget it, so set it, forget it, to go every 30 seconds, or actually, let me even show you if I do it every 5 seconds, and then you can actually see it happening. So at that point, every 5 seconds, this is going to refresh. Now, know that that's only going to work for your first 200 views, and I've read some other things that actually now it's more like 120 views that it maxes out at, and that's per IP address. And I know this sounds like cheating, but this is where I'm coming from when I tell you to do this, and there it just refreshed on its own. When you think about it, and a lot of people do this manually on their own anyway, which I will admit to doing with the Voters TV, sometimes just to get it a little push at the beginning, I would go and give it 30 or 40 views. But when I am in the videos section and say I'm searching something, Web 2.0, I'm going to look down this list. I'm going to look at that thumbnail. I'm going to see what's coming up, what looks interesting, and you see why I mean the person tends to jump out a lot more. But another thing I'm going to look at is how many views it has. And when I get down into some of these other ones, if I saw a video with only 20 views, and I think we saw that earlier when I searched for the iPhone app deal by date, the first thing I'm going to think of is, well, that must not be a very good video because not many people have watched it. I'm going to tend to gravitate toward the videos that have been viewed a lot. So in telling you to get your first 100 to 200 views on your own is, I know sounds like cheating, but I'm telling you, I see people doing this all over the place on their own manually. So if you're going to do it, and it's still going over here in the background, as you can see, every 5 seconds, this episode's reloading. Again, what you should know is that it's per IP address. So that, again, is the refreshing the page add-on for Firefox. And to find that, you simply go to Google and search for Reload Every Firefox Add-on. Reload Every Firefox Add-on. And that will bring you up this particular URL. And then you go there. And, again, this is only going to refresh it. We'll top that at 200 per IP address. And don't brag about it. Don't tell people that you did that. This, again, is a gray, maybe borderline even black hat kind of a thing that you can do. But it does help. Next.
Now Julie, how far...
Uh-huh.
Obviously everybody's got to pick what they're thinking about here, but I'll ask the question. I mean, how much of a YouTube video has to be viewed for it to count? I mean, if you refresh a 10-minute video every 5 seconds, is that going to count?
It does. TubeMogul has a study up on their blog where they did a test on this. There are some sites like Dailymotion video site that it will take the full length of the video in order for one view to count, but with YouTube, it will count it with just even 5 seconds. So you can actually get those views to start racking up just by refreshing it to play every 5 seconds. Now, who knows when they may change that. They did change that deal with autoplays, things being watched off-site now no longer count toward the views. So who knows when they'll get tricky and go in there and change it again. And that's why there is that rumor now that they're actually topping out at 120 views that will count per IP address. But my experience has been you'll usually be able to get those first 200 on there. Just by refreshing the page, and it will show up even under 5 seconds.
Interesting.
Cool?
Yep. No, great.
Okay. All right. Now, same thing can be done with comments, though this is something I've not tried, and I really do kind of think this is a little more scammy. But I got this idea, and this is why I'm going to share it, because I got it on TechCrunch, and it was written by Dan Ackerman Greenberg, who's the co-founder of a viral video marketing company called the Commotion Group. And Dan has a company that gets paid to go out there and try to make big corporations' videos go viral. And he won't even charge his clients until they've got 100,000 views. So he may have a little idea here on how to handle this and get more views on YouTube. And one of the things that he recommends is that you have a conversation with yourself. Dan's basically suggesting here that you use bogus accounts, and he admits right away that his company actually has several accounts. And what they'll do is they'll have guys in his office go and try to stir up controversy in the comments section below a video. He's revealing in this article that they had people on their staff logging in throughout the day and posting what he called heated comments back and forth. Because as we know, everyone loves a good debate, so most likely you would find that others would jump in to continue the debate. Better yet, I think in the case, a lot of people will see this going on, and they'll see that there's a heated discussion, and they'll think, oh, this is something that we can all talk about, and they'll go post it somewhere else in another forum that they're a member of or something so that the debate can continue. So I'm not necessarily saying go in there with all your fake accounts and have a conversation, but if you've got friends and family, have them come in there and maybe not debate, but just leave some comments. Again, it's that first comment. Once the first comment's there, you usually get more. Another great thing that I think that you should do, and I will note here on this before I leave this TechCrunch story, Michael Arrington, who's the top dog over at TechCrunch, he did a follow-up post to this that came out back a year ago on November 22nd. And what he was doing was giving the Dan Ackerman a chance to respond to criticism, because he said that after that blog post came out, they had readers writing in that were incensed over his, what they said, they called it almost gleeful willingness to post fake discussions on forums between fake readers. And then things that Dan Ackerman also said they did was pay bloggers to post their videos, and there were some other dishonest tactics that they used. And Michael Arrington said, I, for one, agreed with most of their commenters. So just keep that in mind before you go hog wild with cheating on YouTube. This is something that I think you can get away with doing in a less tricky sort of way. Maybe don't get on there and start up a argument, but maybe ask your friends and family if they'll go on and just leave one comment. And once they do, always comment back. Every comment that we ever got, and I learned this from What the Buck, who he does an entertainment show, and he really took off on YouTube, and I was watching his career right from the beginning, and one of the things I noticed, anytime I left a comment, he would usually come on there and comment right back to me, and I thought that was so cool, so I continued to watch his show. I mean, you almost feel like, again, that relationship you've established with the host. So I always jumped in here. You'll see, went on there and talked to this guy here and said, thanks for the post. Another thing to notice right here that you should do with the comments game is that you can go to related videos that people have content that's similar to yours and leave a comment where you just mention, hey, I have a video on the same thing. Now, don't be spammy about it. Don't leave the domain and tell people, go to this. A lot of people will sometimes leave the second part of the URL and showing people, they will know that's youtube.com/blah, blah, blah, and they'll just leave the blah, blah, blah on there for you to go and paste in. That's really spammy, and a lot of times people will rate your comment down. It'll end up disappearing. It'll get marked as spam. But I have no problem with this guy coming in here. We were actually doing a video here on a new towable that you pull behind your boat called the Flying Manta Ray, and this guy actually had a video that showed people falling on the Flying Manta Ray. So I loved it that he said, come check out my savage video of how safe these things really are. And so we all started commenting back. That's something you can do. Go out and find related videos, say nice things, and then mention, oh, and by the way, I have a video similar. But comment on the video itself. Say something about the video first, and then you won't get marked as spam. And who knows, you may even bond with the actual content producer of the original content. Now, as for ask and you shall receive, this takes us back to where I was talking about a method for getting more subscribers. And the idea here is to simply ask. Ask and you shall receive. Ask people to subscribe. Ask people to favorite. Ask people to rate or comment, what have you. And I don't just mean contacting your friends and family and saying, hey, do you guys mind coming over here and doing this? I'm saying in your actual video, we talked earlier about putting your URL on there. Don't pass up the opportunity to maybe even say, hey, and this is something What the Buck, again, who I learned a lot of these tricks from just by watching what he did and then emulating it. He said, rate it even if you hate it. Then have to have it. That was a slogan that was, I guess, on a commercial through Sex and the City, I think, actually. Carrie was always saying that I had to have it. So he put that in there as a joke, put his domain right there, and then also the subscribe button. Another thing that you can do, well, I'm just going to show you right here for Buck. It worked. Look, he's the number 8 most subscribed to channel on YouTube of all time. Number 5 most for comedians. Number 8 most for being a YouTube partner. Here's a guy that not only maybe asked in his video, hey, will you come rate and favorite my video or subscribe to my channel? He actually put it in his text over here in the description. Please rate and subscribe. And I bet you a lot of people do, just because they're not even thinking about it. But, you ask, and they think, wouldn't have thought to do that. That's not a bad idea. In fact, we even started adding it to Brad's, where at the end, there it comes up. There's his domain. There's the reminder of where to go to find more, and subscribe today. And believe it or not, once we started doing this, we have really noticed our subscriber numbers increase. It's crazy. I think he's up to 400 now. When we started doing this, I think we're only at about 70. So I really do think it makes a difference. That was something we never even got to start doing that much with the Boaters TV until towards the end. Now, do know that if you're putting your video elsewhere on other places, most of the other video content sharing sites will also have a subscription opportunity. So saying subscribe today is not going to affect you on those. But you may think about it if you're going to put your video up on your own website. Is there a way that they subscribe? If you have a blog, then it makes sense. But just be aware of sort of that difference. But they'll know. They'll see. They'll look down and see, okay, this video appeared on YouTube, and they'll probably get it. And they'll also think, wow, that's really clever. So just ask and you shall receive. Posting videos as responses. I also talked a little bit about this earlier when I was showing the I Am Rich applications, that not only do you want to go and match title, tag, description copy, but posting your videos as responses to those other high-traffic types of videos is a great way to gain new viewers. Because when you think about it, if you find a video through your keyword research that is related to your own, anybody who is watching it, and we talked about the active sharing thing the other day, where you can turn on active sharing and then find someone that's watching it right then and there. But two, anyone that comes by to watch that video, you know they're already pre-qualified to have an interest in your niche topic area. So use that keyword research that I talked about earlier to find an ideal candidate in terms of a video that you want to post your video as a response to. And I'll show you an example here. There was a video that Brad did that had to do with the iPhone 3G. And he mentioned that Steve Jobs had spoken about it at the WWDC 2008. Paul, what's the WWDC?
Worldwide Developer Conference.
Okay. And if I search, I'll be able to pull it up here. It used to be that if I just entered iPhone 3G, it would come up and I would get it. But now I have to put in actually iPhone 3G Steve Jobs to find this particular one that I'm looking for. And here it is, right at the top. When Brad did his episode on this video, I took his keywords, went out to see what other videos were popular that were about it, and I happened to find that, his story about the iPhone 3G at the time, now look at now, it's already up to 218,000 views. At the time, it only had 1,800. This was like the day after, or 4 months ago. It was like 2 days after this one had been posted. So it was still relatively low in views. So what I did was I immediately went on there and took Brad's episode, matched the titles, the tags, and all these other things like I've talked about earlier. But then I posted our video as a response. Now, since then, 6 other people have come along. I was actually, I believe, the second. I think that's the first. I was the first person to post my video as a response back when it was only at 1,800 views. Now it's at 218,000. We used to show up directly under it. Therefore, if you were watching the video, you look right down here and you would see us. Because we've had 6 other people in the last 4 months post responses, you no longer see us below. But imagine how useful that was for someone then to look down in that green. Look how that stands out. There again is that thumbnail idea. So if you click on Brad's here, what you'll notice is that, first of all, beneath it says this is a video response too. So a lot of people don't mind that you're posting a video response because it's actually going to send traffic over to you too when someone watches their video. So that's why it's a good thing to allow, and I talked about earlier in that sharing section of your video upload, to allow responses. But look, this is one of Brad's highest viewed episodes, 3,600 views that he's gotten. And I actually took another episode of Brad's and posted it to this one because it was also about the iPhone 2.0 was what this particular episode was on. So I took one of our own videos, which you can do. You can take one of your videos and respond to one of your others. But in the meantime, this particular video was posted as a response to this one. And I think that really helped us.
Well, you can't deny the numbers.
One other example that I really want to show is that when I talked earlier about doing your keyword research first, tsunami glacier surfing. I know this sounds crazy. And I actually came across this one time. I think it was like a featured video or something. And this was back when I was doing the Boaters TV. Well, I saw that this glacier surfing in Alaska video was, at the time, I think around 500,000 views. Now it's at 840,000. And I said, oh my gosh, we need to cover this topic. So we decided to do our video based on this particular video. And so if you go over and click on my tsunami glacier surfing video, and it does have something to do with boats because they were actually using a PWC or personal watercraft. That's how I was able to make the stretch to say that it had something to do with boating. But you'll see, this is a video response to glacier surfing Alaska. I've gotten 18,000 views to this video, and I guarantee you that a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you're over watching this glacier surfing Alaska video that at this stage has nearly 1 million views, right below it, it's again, I had the same thing that happened to Brad. I've been pushed out of the way here, but initially I was showing up right beneath it, and that's what led to a lot of my views was people would look down and then click on that. So posting your video as a response, I think, is a great idea for driving targeted traffic back over to. Now, I also did one with this toy boat kid that was featured on YouTube. I showed that yesterday. Some kid got on and tried to show that he was trying to say the word toy boat, toy boat, toy boat repeatedly over and over again, and it got featured on YouTube. And this is where I'm going to say you have to be willing to jump on these things immediately with video responses. I saw the toy boat kid, and I waited on this for about a week and a half and thought to myself, oh, wouldn't that be really funny if I did that? See, now I'm even falling in the ratings here. And I sat on it for a week and a half. In the meantime, some of the people that posted video responses to that kid because he was featured on YouTube, some of those guys were up over 40,000 before I even got my video made, just because they were a video response. The kid said, I want you all to post a video response saying the word toy boat over and over and over again. Granted, no, that's not my niche audience. I'm not necessarily looking for people. I'd rather have the boaters coming and watching my video. But what it did do was it helped to get me a lot of views from this video, which ultimately helps my channel, helps everything else, helps. When we applied to be a YouTube partner, we were accepted. One of the things they look at is you have a video that's been viewed, I think, over 15,000 times, and we fell right into this category with just this video alone. And this happened to be the same video as the toy boat. Now, we actually cut it separately, too. I just took the third part and cut it on its own, and this is what I posted as a response to this kid. So the 18,000 number, you should actually relate more to the tsunami glacier surfing. But here, posting as a response to the toy boat kid, I'm at 5,000 views for just this being cut on its own. And you'll even see right here it says, this is a video response to. So do video responses. I highly recommend it. Now, going back to my PowerPoint, the next thing we are going to cover is the YouTube search algorithm. And a lot of what I've been saying is all building up to this. So this is the point we've been trying to work toward. And a lot of what I've been giving you is the build-up toward this. And now, the search algorithm on YouTube, for those who don't know, is that's going to be the mathematical equation that the search engine uses to index your videos and decide what to offer up when someone's searching by keyword. So this is how all search engines determine how you or your information or what websites come up in the search engine results pages when people enter in a search. And for YouTube, it also determines who comes up in this related video section. They now have a deal where you can become a YouTube partner, and those are people that actually can make money off of YouTube. But YouTube, you have to apply to be a partner. I'll talk about that at the end. And if you get accepted, not only can you make some money off of your videos, but this related video section goes away. And what ends up coming up here is what I was telling you can achieve on your own if you watch your tags on your video and make them either blank altogether or some sort of a obnoxious, crazy word that you make up. That will usually let your own videos show up in this related content. Otherwise, people that are partners get all their video relating next to it. If they're not a partner, though, which is most people, very vast majority, there are videos that become up related here. The way that you get in there is to apply some of the tricks that I've already been showing you. That's those titles, tagging, keywords, all that's going to have to do with it. Posting yourself as a video response, I think, tends to help it as well. But when I talked about earlier about having those gray hat extra accounts, and for those of you who don't feel comfortable doing that, it might just be your close friends or family who agreed to help you, know that the metadata matrix of ratings and favorited votes on videos will count in the relevancy algorithm on YouTube. We kind of mentioned that earlier. So what we're going to do is combine what I said earlier about how you want to go in there and use those accounts to rate and favorite your own videos here's something else that we're going to do with it. We're going to use that keyword research where we went through and we tried to find videos that perhaps we wanted to copy the tags, match the titles, description copy of, also those videos that maybe we decided based on our criteria were the best video to post ourselves as a response to. What we're going to want to do is we're going to take those videos and we're going to rate and favorite our own with our bogus accounts, and then immediately we're going to go over and consecutively rate the video that we want to show up next to, or the one that's doing well, or the one we've posted ourselves as a response to. And the idea here is that the search engines are wise, and they're going to have, even though no one's exactly figured out what the Google algorithm is, we have SEO experts everywhere teaching us the things that they think work because they've noticed empirical evidence shows that this works. Well, I think we can take some of the lessons from that, and one of the pieces of advice that always comes, especially like with social bookmarking. Now, everyone's saying make sure you keep it natural. Make it look like you're a real human being doing this, and the search engines will likely not pick up on anything. So the idea here is, actually, let me show you first, and then I will come back over to this, and we'll actually spell it out for you. So don't be scribbling, taking notes. You can actually just watch.
Okay, so far, Julie, I'm really confused here. So,
okay.
You're gonna show how this works specifically? Do it like an example?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Beautiful.
Okay. And good. Thank you for letting me know that, because I'll try to. This is the hardest part, actually. That's why I was trying to build up with all those other things. So I hope I'll be able to explain this here. The idea is that right after your video is uploaded, within the first few hours or so, you would go in and do what I told you to do when I decided, okay, Brad's I Am Rich application video is the one that we really think is the most relevant, and we did the keyword search and found, I Am Rich application was the one, or let's just I Am Rich. Okay, so he's coming up for I Am Rich. So I would look at this video and say, I want to be posted as a response, or I want to match my title, my tag, my keywords.